Hello, traveler. Thank you for being here. Tonight is a very active night, astronomically and astrologically. We have a new moon, a new supermoon. But of course, the big story is the solar eclipse that will be happening pretty much right after the new supermoon. So, a lot going on, a lot of very heightened, conflicting, perhaps, very powerful energy floating around. So, of course, we will check in and see what's going on with a rune reading and tarot reading. Before we get started, because of all of the aforementioned events, we're going to start by spraying a protection smudge spray. This one is white sage and cinnamon. Sage, of course, for cleansing and purifying. And cinnamon is really good for protection. It's a very spicy, very woodsy scent, very earthy. We'll take a couple deep breaths together as you look at your two piles here. Pile 1 will be this stone cactus. And pile 2 will be this stone crescent moon. Just go ahead and use your intuition to choose the pile you're most drawn to right now, just in the first couple seconds. There's no wrong answer. And of course, you may watch both, as always. Just remember, this is a reading for the collective, so please feel free to take whatever resonates for you and simply leave the rest for someone else. I'll see you at your pile. Hello, pile 1. If you chose the stone cactus, then this reading is for you. Place that up here. And we'll start with our runes as usual. We'll use the runes to dial into the energy of this reading for pile 1. And help us get on the right track. It's telling me not that one. Okay. 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 The message from this reading is that you feel like you're running out of time for something. There's a lot of constrained energy, constricted energy, pressure, maybe a deadline coming up, something where it doesn't feel like you have enough time. And this is primarily coming from peer pressure. It's coming from your community, maybe within your family. Something you're either being pressured to do that you may or may not have chosen on your own, or perhaps something you do want to do or you know needs to be done, but the time pressure is being placed on you, whereas you would rather do things in your own time, in your own timeline. This could be something like being pressured to get married or have children, pressured to take over a family business, pressure to conform in some way to something that your community finds to be normal. It could be different, lots of different situations, of course. But if the overall energy is feeling like you are running out of time and you haven't made the decision yet, or you're not ready to take the step that you're being kind of pressured to take. So if that resonates for you in any way, then please feel free to stick around. I'll pull some cards. Okay. Please have some clarification about this situation for pile 1. Please have some more details about pile 1's situation. You're definitely waiting, or you would prefer to wait. You're waiting for something, it almost feels like something specific to happen. Maybe you're waiting for a promotion or a person to be ready. Okay, maybe waiting for someone to be ready to have children. Maybe you're waiting for some treatments, some test results, if it's literal, but it could also be waiting to bring forth an idea or something new. Giving birth to something can be figurative as well. The Empress is the life giver, the nurturer, but it doesn't have to be literal. It can also be, a book that you're waiting to publish, an idea that you're waiting to talk to people about, a new business that you're waiting to start. Could even just be a conversation that you're waiting to have about an idea that you have or something that is important to you. And maybe you're being pressured to do it sooner than later, or maybe you're being told that you're going to miss your window or miss your opportunity if you don't go for it now, but something in you is saying, you're not ready. You're waiting for something else to come in. You're waiting for something else to slot into place almost. It's like waiting for a cooperative component to slot into place. Yeah, you may need to have some kind of firm words with someone, some conversations where you really lay down your boundaries and you're very clear. And you say, you say, I don't want to have conflict with you, but you are overstepping my boundaries a little bit. Or, finding a way that isn't petty, that has some diplomacy to it, to get this person off your back, essentially. Or maybe it's not just a person, it might be your whole company, your whole family, your friend group, your coworkers, your partner. Maybe it's an online forum. I'm getting that message too. Could also be an online community. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, there's definitely an energy of needing to go it alone here, not being aligned with the people that you are trying to work on this with. Maybe there's a too many cooks in the kitchen situation. Yeah. Yeah, strong advice to kind of stand on your own 2 feet here and maybe even walk away from these people or from this situation. Just knowing that, you don't need anyone else to accomplish this. Of course, we all need community, we all need support, we all need help sometimes, not saying to throw away your support system or anything like that, but you might just need to walk away from certain advice that you're getting that doesn't resonate for you. It doesn't feel in line with what you want. So, kind of tapping into your own power, your own abundance, realizing that you have everything that you need. Maybe you have someone working with you who's like kind of dead weight, like they're holding you back or they're giving advice that doesn't feel right, and expecting to have kind of like an equal voice in this situation or an equal say in what's going on, but you're actually the one who is bringing everything to the table here. This person might just be doing a little bit of coattail riding or maybe, it might not be as harsh as that, but there's definitely some, I don't want to say dead weight. It honestly sounds so rude. But maybe some imbalance, let's say, in the workload or in who is bringing what to the table and what is actually needed to move forward and accomplish this, what your next step is that you want to do. Maybe this person is pushing you to make a change or make an announcement or to do something quicker, and you really feel like it's not the right direction. And because the framework of this partnership has either always been or is implied to be 50-50, you are feeling a lot of pressure to take what they're saying into consideration. And of course, you can take it into consideration, but that doesn't mean that they automatically win. They don't get to have their way just because they are being louder about it. The squeaky wheel gets the grease, but it doesn't have to when it's a two-person situation. That's your 50% of that equation. And just because you're maybe a little nicer, maybe a little more aware of social norms, maybe a little less comfortable with conflict, or maybe have a harder time putting down boundaries, that doesn't mean that the other person gets to walk all over you and make all the decisions. You have an equal say, and you should state your piece here and not just allow, I understand when you're working with someone or collaborating with someone who can be really difficult, we sort of tend to go into an instinctual sort of pick your battles mindset where we really let a lot of things go because you can't energetically or physically fight nonstop in a relationship or in a work environment or whatever it might be. So you may just have lost sight a little bit of when to stand your ground and which things are actually worth laying down the law and not budging over. Any more messages for pile 1? Yeah, High Priestess. Oh yeah, you have a lot of swords. The High Priestess is about inner wisdom, trusting yourself, holding your cards close to your chest, protecting your knowledge, protecting your own fortress, and you have a lot of swords, a lot of logic, a lot of mind games even, 5 of Swords here. There are some dynamics at play that require thought and require carefully chosen words or messages, could be emails or texts or whatever, but some of these conversations are not going to be easy. They're not going to be in your comfort zone. They don't flow the way that you would prefer, but they are definitely necessary because I sense there's been a buildup of this pressure and you've just been slowly kind of reaching your limit, and it's time to handle that. it's time to speak up. It's time to have a conversation before it gets to a point where you're snapping or it becomes less logical. You know, if it gets put off too long, then it starts to become more in the wands area where it's a little fiery, it's a little passionate, and it's harder to make sure you're being heard. Whereas in the swords energy, you can kind of be logical. Careful not to be too cold or too harsh, but you know, temper that a little bit, because you know, I really don't see a lot of balance. I think that that's how you're feeling. You're just kind of feeling over it, and you're like, all right, well, if I'm going to say something, it's going to be blunt, you know, and that's okay. But you do get, you know, you get more flies with honey than vinegar, right? So it's not about faking it or lying to people, but maybe throwing in some softeners, I guess, is what I would say. What I'm seeing here as far as the balance goes. But definitely your instincts to speak about this are correct. Okay, there's the softener. So the Page of Cups is sometimes known as the apology card, but it's coming to someone with an offer, with an emotional offer or a love offer, but it's definitely coming to someone with intentions of being heard and being understood and speaking from the heart. So that's the sweetener we were needing here. So just a little confirmation about that. Yeah. Wheel of Fortune. Yeah, the timing is right. Yep. The Star and Judgment. So it's definitely time. You've waited long enough. You've earned it. This is your moment. And it's time for you to either break free and pursue, you know, what you know is in your highest and greatest good, or lay down your boundary so that you can continue in this partnership with that autonomy and that respect, and know that, you know, the framework has been clearly laid out and there's no more ambiguity about what is appropriate and what is to be expected from you in this scenario or this relationship. So, you know, there's a little bit of a battle ahead of you, but it doesn't look like you're going to get that much resistance, honestly. It almost looks like it's going to be one of those counterintuitive things where, you know, you think, oh, if I push back against this, there's going to be a fight. But actually, when you push back, it just garners you respect, and people go, oh, okay, well, they've never said that before, so it must be serious, you know? So I see it more going that direction, especially if you're able to kind of temper some of your harsher thoughts maybe with a little bit of cups. Then I see it going even smoother. But yeah, this is earned. This is earned on both sides. The person or people that you need to speak to about this, they have it coming, so to speak. They might be maybe have had this pattern before in other relationships, maybe pushing boundaries, seeing what they can get away with, simply because they haven't been stopped or nobody's, you know, stood up to them before. And lucky you're the one. But you are part of this too. You know, you have earned this victory and you've earned relief from the stress of this situation. I feel like it's been weighing on you for a while, or at least building up for a while. So it's time for you to get what you want. You know, you've been passed by or pushed to the side enough times, or your wishes have, or your ideas, and you've been accommodating and catering to others, and it's your turn to get your wish fulfillment. And you do have to, you know, you have to earn it through taking this risk, but it's not a risk, it's actually an opportunity to speak your mind. You know, do some throat chakra work, trying to clear your throat chakra a little bit. Do some throat chakra meditations, just kind of help you speak your truth and help that come out a little clearer. And that will probably help a great deal. But, you know, a new moon it's a good time to start a new pattern, to start a new habit. I know the eclipse energy can be a little bit weird, which, this definitely reflects that. But just take it one step at a time. Remember to balance things out. If they're feeling a little too heavy in one direction, then just kind of put a little bit of balancing energy into it and try to regain that equilibrium before moving forward. And then just take your steps carefully. Obviously, we also have Mercury retrograde going on, so be really careful about your communication. That's a really big time for misunderstandings or technical difficulties. So, if you're sending emails or texts, proofread, double check, make sure things aren't sitting in your outbox, or that they actually sent. It's better, if you can have conversations in person, that's definitely better during this time. But either way, just, it's not, Mercury retrograde isn't anything to be scared of. It's just a time to be a little more meticulous, a little more detail oriented about things, because it just creates like hiccups. But yeah, I wish you luck with this conversation. I am, super proud of you for what you're gearing up to do here. I think it's going to be a real relief for you once it's over. Once you see that it's not the catastrophe that you're worried that it's going to be. And yeah, you're ready to get to that next level and just sort of enjoy that that peace and calm that comes with knowing that you've spoken your mind and you've stood up for yourself and you've been clear. As always, please share in the comments if you feel comfortable. I would love to hear how it's going for you and what this is about, and of course how it turns out. But I wish you a beautiful new moon and a safe and calm eclipse as well. And thank you for joining me as always, and I'll see you in my next reading. Bye-bye, Pile 1. Hello, Pile 2. If you chose this stone moon, then this is your reading. So over here. And as usual, we'll start by pulling some runes to connect with the energy of this reading and kind of zero in on what we're going to be talking about in this pile. Okay, this is a pretty specific message, so I apologize. Obviously it's not going to apply to everyone, but this message has something to do with female health. This could be you or someone in your life who's going through a situation. It could be pregnancy or infertility or fertility treatment, menopause, ovarian, issues, breast cancer, anything like that that's that affects female identifying people and their biology. This could also be an emotional issue for a female identifying person, or an issue with the feminine energy within anyone. Could also be on a bigger scale, involvement with women's rights, women's reproductive rights, political issues that affect women, but specifically more towards women's health or women's safety. This could also be, working on something law related, a case that involves a woman or a woman's safety. something like that. It's pretty specific, but obviously, it could relate in many different ways in our lives. You don't have to be a woman for this to resonate. We all know women and have women in our lives, even if we don't identify as women ourselves. But yeah, the energy around this is connected to female health and safety and wellness. So if that resonates for you, or maybe you know someone who struggled with those issues or is struggling with those issues, if it's not you yourself, maybe this has to do with that. But if that resonates for you in any way, then feel free to stick around. I'm going to pull some cards. Move these over. Can I please have some information for pile 2? What does pile 2 need to know during this new supermoon and eclipse, solar eclipse period? What's the message for pile 2, please? Okay. 3 of Pentacles, 10 of Wands, Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Yeah, definitely still getting health issue vibes from this. Something that has been a struggle, and the kind of thing that a lot of people are working on trying to figure it out, but it's moving really slowly, and the progress or the fruits, it's almost like 2 steps forward, 3 steps back kind of a feeling, where it's like an uphill battle, pushing this rock uphill, and of course not wanting to give up, not wanting to show any sort of resolution or weakness, but starting to feel the pressure of that and starting to feel tired. Yeah, King of Cups, it's emotional. This is probably someone that you love, if it's not you. And I'm very sorry that you're going through what you're going through. I don't know the details, but I can tell that it's very tough. You're holding on really tightly to hope and to this person. Maybe this is something that is a behavior that they are putting them, doing themselves, that is keeping them sick or in the way of them having a healthy life. The Empress, yeah, another mother or very strong feminine energy. I have some advice for pile 2. Yeah, I'm getting the message that it could definitely just be someone who has some really unhealthy habits, and you're really worried about them. And no matter what you do, it feels like you can't make a difference, or they don't listen, or they never are willing to stop. Maybe they stop and then they go back to it. The 9 of Pentacles. Yeah, there's no shame in this, but you're starting to feel like you might need to take some independence from this situation. Maybe you feel like it's kind of swallowing you. Yeah, you need a fresh start. You have the Fool and Justice. And, that fresh start that you want is deserved. It's earned. You have put in a lot of time and a lot of energy towards this. And, obviously there's a great deal of guilt for wanting freedom or wanting space from this situation or from this person, but it's been extremely heavy. It's been a burden for you. And right now, maybe you're struggling with worthiness, or you're struggling with how do you, the idea of the guilt that you would feel if you did walk away from this or take any sort of space or freedom from this is almost like not even, doesn't even come close to, like the amount of guilt that you would feel is a lot greater than the benefit you feel like you would receive from taking that space. So you just keep on, keep going, keep waiting, putting off your own freedom. This is very similar. I'm starting to feel echoes of a reading that we did a few weeks ago, or a couple months ago even. So maybe this is you, and maybe you are checking back in and you're still feeling like you need to find some sort of a way. This doesn't mean you need to leave the person behind or never see them again or walk away, but you might need to just find a way to take a little bit of independence and a little bit of freedom from this, because it's kind of like taking over your whole life. And, whether it's something the other person is doing themselves or not, addiction is a disease, mental illnesses are diseases. So it's hard because other people might look at your situation, if it isn't a traditional medical illness, and say, you're enabling, you need to walk away and just let them deal with it. But that's easier said than done, because the intricacies of the condition and what that's like on the inside. It's not as simple as you just walk away and then they stop doing it because they've learned their lesson. This isn't someone who's a child who just needs to learn their lesson. This is someone who's sick, and you don't want to abandon them for a lot of different reasons. Yeah, Six of Wands and the Hermit. I think that you feel like you just need to continue on the path that you're on and keep your head down and keep going, and you feel like maybe there's a breakthrough around the corner, or you will be able to get through to this person. And the Emperor. Okay, so you may be right with that, but maybe your way of taking your independence is actually standing kind of firm. Maybe a little bit of tough love, so not abandonment, but maybe some tough love, maybe some boundaries, but still being nearby and still being there to kind of follow through. But a firmer hand, strength. Honestly, like it's almost like parenting this person, but with love, not with neglect. Which is, kind of, there's some echoes of pile 1 in here as well. So if you came over from pile 1, this could be just a clarification of that energy for you that's a little more resonant with your situation. But the Emperor is the dad of the tarot, the authority figure, the strong, stable, firm, strict but not mean, when it's upright like it is, it's a generally a very positive, reliable, grounded energy. And sometimes that can make others, being around energy like that can make others feel stronger themselves and feel safer to take risks, or what they perceive as risks. And for someone who is going through addiction or mental health issues, that could be the difference between them being willing to step outside their comfort zone and seek help or treatment, because they feel like it's safe to do that. And maybe this is the course of action that you've already been on. Maybe this is something that you've been doing for a while, and you're just trying to stay the course because you feel like that victory is right around the corner. And, you know best. So your intuition will really help you here, especially during a new moon. It's a really good time to go inward. Hermit is here as well. So trusting your inner wisdom. And the Magician. Wow, yeah. So speaking of being in control, being in charge, being able to accomplish whatever you want, the Magician makes it happen. So yeah, maybe all you need is just a little bit of reassurance that you are capable of handling this, whatever it is that you're working on. As long as you have direction and you're not just an open-ended kind of punching bag for someone. if you have a plan and you have a course that you are on and you're sticking to it, and it feels like, you feel hopeful about it, then don't let anything deter you. You know best what's best for you and for the relationships in your life. And yeah, I just wish you strength. I wish you, that conviction. It's like the conviction of your thoughts, the conviction of the sureness of your thoughts that build up into strength. But I can see that it's a really difficult situation, and I'm sending support from afar to wherever you are. We can't force others to do anything, and words don't teach, so we have to lead by example and show people what a calm, safe, balanced energy looks like, and hope that they kind of orbit towards us and meet us where we are, instead of kind of vibrating down to their level. And it's a lot easier said than done, of course, as everything is. It's really, really easy to get sucked down to a lower vibration, and it's a lot harder to maintain your high vibration. But if you get some of that momentum going, then you'll be really surprised how often people meet you where you are. And, it's not your responsibility to bring anyone up to where you are. Everyone's responsible for their own journey and their own position. But if you try it and you start to see that shift, then, things might get a little bit clearer or a little easier on your end too, which is, of course, what we want. I want things to just flow for you and to feel effortless and easy and like everything is always working out for you. Interesting. So what just flew out was the King of Swords, the King of Wands. We already have the King of Cups here, and then we got the Queen of Cups. So we are missing Pentacles, so it's possible that this is feeling, how do I say, like not very grounded. So if you're feeling like this is all a little hypothetical or a little bit too emotional, and you're not understanding the practical application of some of this, it might be really helpful to write some things down. It might be really helpful to journal and make, like, rather than journaling for like creative purposes or to get your feelings out, writing down, maybe it's more like charts, maybe it's more like spreadsheets, maybe something a little more practical like a list, and getting it all out visually in a way that's organized, that you can see and have a little bit of a plan of action. Maybe getting one of those journals that kind of has the charts, like a bullet journal where things are kind of laid out for you. Maybe even getting inspired into creating some of your own layouts. That might help you get a little more into the moment in your body and a little less, a little out of your head. Because there is a lot of mental turmoil here and a lot of overthinking, a lot of emotional ups and downs. And maybe you need some concrete steps to take to kind of start shifting this a little bit. But I think you definitely have the right idea. You're on the right track. The Magician and the Hermit, the Emperor, Fool. Yeah. Yeah, you just need a plan. You need a practical plan, but your idea is right. Your head's in the right place. Your heart's in the right place. Your heart's really in the right place. You have the King and the Queen of Cups. So now it's just a matter of kind of puppeteering things a little bit so that you can have a little bit more control over the outcome instead of feeling like you're just kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. You want to have maybe a little bit more of a planned approach. But once you do, yeah, I think there's definitely some positive progress around the corner with that. Well, pile 2, that was a very specific message. I hope it resonated for some of you. And I hope that you have a really productive new moon. I hope that you stay safe during this eclipse season and this Mercury retrograde, choosing your words carefully, double checking things like fine print, etc., just to save yourself headaches after the fact. But please let me know how it's going, as always, in the comments if you're comfortable sharing. And I will be rooting for you as usual. And I look forward to seeing you in my next reading. Thanks, Pile 2. Bye-bye.